Welcome back to the Brave New Wear Show. My name's Christian. In the 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula, acclaimed director Francis Ford Coppola set out to create a movie that both made homage to the birth of cinema while simultaneously reinventing the character of Dracula for the modern era. Notable in this attempt to capture classic Dracula, Coppola was keen to recreate the types of illusions that were used in the very first movies.
I would only use effects done as they would have been done in 1900.
I have not been getting what I've been asking for. I have been asking for shadows and illusion and double impositions and imagination.
Oh my God, bro.
So Coppola fired the run-of-the-mill standard special effects team who was initially hired and instead chose his 27-year-old son to then lead all of the special effects for the movie.
In a sense, I began to realize that it was only my own family, my son, whom I had raised in this style of adventure, who would be there shoulder to shoulder with me.
Don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
And guess what? His son knocked it out of the park. The end result is a film that is psychotic, incredibly horny, and strange, and bizarre. And if you haven't seen it yet, I really recommend it. In addition to relying on in-camera effects, Coppola imagined that the costumes would be a critical element of the film. In his original concept for the movie, rather than relying on sets to capture the audience's imagination, the costumes would be the jewel of the set.
I was going to lead with the costumes. I was going to put most of my money in the costumes, and I was going to diminish the set.
To do this, Coppola made an unusual choice by hiring Eiko Ishioka as the costume designer.
Honestly, I have never seen a Dracula film before I got this job.
What?
Despite the fact that Ishioka was better known for her design work, and this was the first film that she ever did all of the costumes for, she did a tremendous job. It's the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place, was the costumes. In fact, she would go to win the Academy Award for Best Costume Design the year that Dracula came out. When first getting started with the costume design, Ishioka recognized that Dracula is typically associated with a very specific look. And part of her genius was imagining looks or costumes that were still true to the character, but completely original in design.
Dracula has a very cliché style. So Francis, I wanted to completely throw away this cliché look to create our own vision.
Ishioka also goes on to describe how they wanted Dracula's look to defy definition in gender, in age, even in humanity, constantly changing and obscuring the character and its true identity with each different costume change.
A man or a woman or old or young or what is this one?
What the fuck are those?
First on the list, possibly the most iconic outfit he wears, possibly one of the most iconic costumes in movies. It's the first scene that we see Dracula. He is in this red armor. Ishioka says that she drew inspiration from musculature in worms. And we see Gary Oldman wearing this armor when he first makes his pact with the devil, thus becoming a Dracula. Its design makes it both human and inhuman. It looks like skin that has been flayed from a body, kind of evoking the Vlad the Impaler vibes that the original Dracula was inspired by. It's so epic, I think. I've also seen online how, at least in anime, there is kind of a tendency or a frequency in making kind of overly elaborate, beautiful armor for characters. And I won't rule it out. Being Ishioka is Japanese, there could be some inspiration there. Like, it makes me initially think of Tom Brown's kind of muscular suits. That's, I think, the only natural touchstone I can think of. Or like a demonic version of the nano suit from Crisis.
This is... Yeah, I could act in this. These lights connect. I could do an emotional love scene in this suit.
I wouldn't even know say how you would adopt this. Like if you were watching these videos trying to get some style advice, and you're like, how do I be a Dracula? How do I adopt that style? I think that what makes it so impactful is that it is reminiscent of like human anatomy, but it is so red. That's my tip one. How to be a Dracula? Wear red. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but we'll see throughout the film that Dracula is wearing colors very boldly. So if you want to be very deliberate value add about how do I adopt this guy's look, I would say aim for bigger red than you've been wearing.
Welcome to my home. I am Dracula. Come here.
The next outfit on this list, when Keanu Reeves, his character essentially is introduced to Dracula, he's fully Draculaized.
They say you are a man of good taste.
Let's call this outfit the red kimono look. If you maybe have seen references to this film before, they might have been using like this Dracula look. I know The Simpsons did one for Treehouse of Horror episode something.
Dad, do you notice anything strange?
Yeah, his hairdo looks so weird.
I heard that. It was a boy.
I think this look captures a lot of what Ishioka was saying in terms of like, he looks androgynous, neither man nor woman, and his age is immediately like put into question. Because in this look, Dracula looks about to be 1,000 years old. I like his like weird beehive kind of hair.
I heard that.
The spool, which I referenced earlier, describes throughout Dracula, Ishioka consistently uses markers of transgressive and identity to indicate otherness and deviance. That really captures like all of the looks, and it definitely kind of like this one. Needless to say, to my eyes, it looks very much kind of inspired by a kimono. We see the gold phoenixes embroidered on the front, which I think is an obvious reference to the fact that Dracula cheats death. Let me know in the comments if you agree. And say if my theories about this look being inspired by kimonos tracks. The color red with kimonos has had many different signifiers throughout the history of Japan. At times, the color red was meant to signify the sun or fire with kimonos, which obviously works with the phoenix. In the Edo period of Japan, the color red or certain shades of red in kimonos would be a clear signifier of youth, which obviously more obscures this look if it's super old Dracula wearing a red kimono meant to signify that he's a young, hot guy. He's like got a lot of energy. He's like chipper. He's got, I don't know. He's got riz.
Damn, son.
He's got riz. That's what I'm saying. This kimono says he's got riz.
They're racing against the sunset. Maybe too late, but help us.
Classic rock.
Last outfit I want to highlight from the movie is Dracula's gold outfit. Let's call it even his Klimt outfit. Throughout this movie, Gary Oldman is wearing multiple different versions of costumes and makeup, sometimes for a single scene. Sometimes he's young, sometimes he's mega old.
Use my power.
Sometimes he's bat old. Sometimes he's rats. All that to say, this last outfit only appears briefly, but like the red armor, it is dramatic and leaves an impact. One of the core inspirations that Coppola came to the table with when starting to develop this movie was incorporating the work of Gustav Klimt, the Austrian artist from the 19th century. And this makes a lot of sense. Gustav Klimt was a brilliant artist who was very horny, and his art ended up being very horny, and this movie's very horny, and it all just works together.
When the first time to have a meeting with him, he showed me all symbolism painters. Especially, he pointed to the famous Klimt painting, which titled The Kiss. Eiko, is it possible to realize this painting to one of the Dracula's costume?
Klimt was deeply inspired by Japanese art in his time. Definitely during his gold period, he was drawing a lot from Japanese art that he would collect, including a lot of use of gold leaf in Japanese art that he was able to gather, which would inspire his most famous works.
When I see Klimt painting, I could feel the very oriental flavor with Western painting. I want to express hybrid culture, which is East meet West.
For this Gary Oldman look, it looks as if Ishioka took one of these kind of abstracted designs that Klimt would paint in iconic works like The Kiss and turned it into real life. It almost looks like a collage of kind of squares and rectangles, and it's super strange, especially considering how, like a lot of the Klimt work, he would often paint figures with more or less humanistic faces, but more abstracted bodies. And I think Ishioka took that and ran because this outfit looks kind of like a wizard's robe. It seems to go all the way down to his feet and really does not cling to the body in any way. And I think it's really interesting how she took something two-dimensional that maybe never meant to be imagined as a three-dimensional piece and tried to animate it in that way.
My image of the Dracula should have a million faces. It's almost like endless transformation.
I have left out a lot of really cool outfits that I could have included in this video, but due to laziness, I did not. But beyond that, I've got news. I'm back. I am back, baby. I want to be making videos constantly again. I want to be your best friend. I want to be your confidant.
I'm Mr. Sterling's right-hand arm man. I'm Mr. Sterling everything. I'm his confidant, his best friend, his silly rabbit.
I want you guys to come to me when you get bullied at school. I want you to come to me when you're the bully at school, because I want to hear about how cool you are. And all that to say, I am reopening my Patreon. That's right. I am reopening the Patreon with a hot new video that is gonna be on there from day one. If you felt like this wasn't high fashion enough for you, the Patreon exclusive video is focused on a Julius jacket that I recently sold, so you'll wanna check it out. I am going to be looking for your input in terms of what you guys wanna see from it, what you guys wanna see from the channel broadly, and what we should set for goals. I didn't do that last time, and I think I should set goals for the Patreon, once we get so many patrons, or I don't know, something like that. Maybe I'll do some wacky, outrageous thing that you can't even believe I did it. I don't know. But needless to say, I love you all. I'm happy to be here, and stay tuned for my next one. Take it easy.
His acting is so powerful and dynamic. The piece by piece, all my armor is falling down.
Jesus Christ. Action!